Emergency disaster preparedness in the event of a nuclear disaster. Nuclear fallouts are the most unpredictable of all disaster events and require emergency disaster preparedness. Nuclear fallouts are not unpredictable in terms of occurrence, as they are in terms of damage and consequence. Emergency disaster preparedness is crucial in the event of a nuclear crisis because the effect of nuclear fallout, such as radiation spillage, can be felt years after the nuclear fallout event. Depending upon your exposure to nuclear fallout, you may require little more than a shower. On the other hand, a nuclear fallout can render entire geographic regions uninhabitable for decades. I am sure you remember the Chernobyl nuclear plant disaster on April 26, 1986, when the city of Pripyat suffered from a catastrophic nuclear disaster. The nuclear accident released large quantities of radioactive contamination into the atmosphere that spread over many parts of Western USSR and Europe. The Chernobyl nuclear plant disaster is considered the worst nuclear power plant accident in history, being classified as a Level 7 event using the International Nuclear Event Scale. To visit Pripyat, Chernobyl, or any of the surrounding villages today, you must enter the 30-kilometer exclusion zone, which requires a day pass. In the latter part of 2011, the government ministry that has jurisdiction over the Chernobyl nuclear disaster site increased their limitations and restrictions for visits to the site. Some of the bus tours that had been permitted were no longer permitted because of Regulation Number 1157, which stipulates that as of November 2, 2011, a request for a zone permit must be applied for at least 10 days prior to the planned visit. This shows how long a nuclear fallout disaster can remain in the environment. Much like riots, nuclear fallouts present us with the stay or go dilemma. Radiation is invisible and not measurable to most people. In Japan, people relied upon the government to tell them whether they were safe or not. It turns out that early assurances were wrong. The radiation had spread faster than what authorities had thought or wanted people to know. It is recommended that you do not stay in your home if you are near a nuclear accident, regardless of what authorities say. The general public typically does not know the severity of the situation when a nuclear event does occur. Therefore, you must act quickly and have a disaster preparedness plan in place. Wikipedia explained NRC officials viewed the situation gravely because of the 12-mile evacuation radius, discussing as early as March 12th, a day after the accident, whether a 50-mile evacuation was needed and even whether a general evacuation from Japan might be warranted. If this happened in the U.S., we would go out 50 miles. Bill Borkrat, the NRC's executive director for operations, told Mr. Zaxko on March 16th. This shows you cannot put your survival in the hands of someone else, and how important emergency preparedness is, plus that you will have to be prepared in advance. The Absolute Rights Special Report Get Out of Dodge report was created to help you make an emergency disaster preparedness plan to be able to survive disaster situations. www.bugoutreport.com